Okay, after the configuration part is ready, now let's start with the practical number 2 part 1, that is configuring local AAA authentication for console access on R1. In simple way, whomsoever try to access the router R1 to configure it, it should go through this AAA mechanism. What is AAA? It stands for authentication, authorization and accounting. So authentication is nothing but provides a way to identify user, typically with the valid username and valid password. And authorization is a process of enforcing the policies, like determining like what types of activities or resources or services a user is permitted to do. And after a user is authenticated or also maybe authorized, there are certain accounting measures has to be taken. This is all about AAA. So now let's start with the practical. So we are here. We have to focus on the router R1. Okay. So anytime anybody wants to try to access the router R1, so it should ask us the authentication mechanism, and we want to implement this AAA. So let's click on the router R1. Go to CLI. Okay. Exit from the config router mode first. I'm exiting from everywhere. So now I'm trying to access the router, you all can see. Okay, and it is allowing me, but I don't want this thing should be there, like it should ask me the username and password. So let's implement the AAA model. So let's get yourself into configuration mode first. So conft, I'm firing the command. I'm mentioning the username which is given in the manual, or you can set any name you want to. So this is the admin1, and the password will be like pass through secret command, and the parameter will be admin1 pa55. Okay, pa55, admin1 pa55, that's the password. Click enter. Next thing, you have to enable AAA mechanism services on the R1. So for that you have to mention AAA. This is a new model. This is the way we can enable the AAA on R1. Click enter. Then you have to configure AAA authentication for the console login. If somebody tries to log in now on R1, so you have to configure it. So how to configure? Like I'm configuring like using AAA authentication to be implemented. Login, we are focusing on default. Somebody tries to log in locally, local. So this is the command AAA authentication login. We are focusing on default local. Next, we have to configure the line console also to use the defined AAA authentication method. And the use of line console 0 is a command to connect switch or router through medium console. So basically from where you are accessing, the line console has to get protected. So you just have to mention line console, the console from where you will be accessing the router. So line console 0, enabling the AAA on the R1. Now we are setting okay, the console has to ask us the authentication. So in that case you can see now we are configuring the line. So we have to mention that login authentication has to be done. That's the command login authentication default, which has been set by us. The default method was AAA now, and we are done. You just have to click end. You are out, you can see, and you can check once before. Now just let's click exit. Now I'm out. So now next time when I'm asking to access the router R1 to configure, it is asking me the like username and the password, you can see. So let me give the username that was set by me was admin1, and the password was admin1 pa55. Enter, and you are inside the router. So this is how part 1 of the practical number 2 can be done. That is configuring local AAA authentication for console access on R1. In the next part, what we'll do, let me just show you the title also for that part. That is part 2 now. We'll be configuring local AAA authentication for VTY lines on R1. That is virtual terminal lines on R1. In simple sentence, here when PC0 try to access router R1, or if somebody from PC0 try to configure the router R1, also PC0 has to go through AAA mechanism, that is authentication, authorization and accounting. So how to implement that? So let's see. So we are in the router. Get yourself into first enable it and get yourself into configuration mode, conft. So we are in the configuration mode now in the router. In the previous practical we did the same thing. So here we want to implement the AAA mechanism, but of course PC0 will be able to fire the command for router R1, so the command will travel, and to make that command travel securely we will be using protocol called SSH, like we did in the practical number 1. So SSH will be used here along with it will be like kind of a protocol we are using for AAA mechanism. Okay, so let's go to the router now once again, and again you all can see the router name is host name is router. If you want to change it, you can change it again, coming back to this config tab and change it to R1 properly, so that it should not give me the problem while configuring it. Go to CLI. Now you can see that R1 is mentioned here. So let's start with the practical now, part 2. That is, let's type the command. First thing you have to set the domain name. So domain name is CCNA security. You can give any domain name ending with .com. So setting the domain name. Now we have to generate the key for authentication purpose, what SSH use to create the message digest. So crypto, P was missing, PTO, yeah, crypto key space key generate. We are asking router to generate the key for us, for which algorithm, RSA, and now it is asking me the number of bits you want. So you can choose 512, you can choose 1024. It can be it should be in multiple of 512. So let me go with 1024. Enter. So now key is there, generating the 1024 bit key, RSA key. Then next we have to configure a name leads. Now as I said, let's enable the AAA here again for authentication mechanism. So I'm firing the command AAA authentication, and login will be done through SSH protocol. So that is SSH hyphen login command. The login will be in caps, and local, that means within the network. So we are configuring a name list called SSH login to authenticate logins using which mechanism? AAA. But the command will travel through SSH protocol. Okay, enter. So SSH has been enabled. You all can see the output now. Now we have to configure the virtual terminal lines and how many lines you want. So in our case we want line virtual 0 to 4. Now we are in configuration line mode. Let's configure the line through which we'll be accessing the router. So login authentication SSH hyphen login. So login will also be done through SSH protocol only, and then enter. Then we have to fire one more command that is called transport input SSH. Say transport input command to set which protocols are allowed to access via virtual terminal lines. So we are giving and setting the permission over the TCP/IP protocol. The SSH protocol will be allowed only allowed. Okay, so transport input SSH only over the line, and then click end like this. So now again you are out, you can see. So now we'll verify if this is possible. So close this R1, go to PC0, go to we have the separate window here for a particular purpose. You can see either you can go to the command prompt, but I guess now they have given this option like telnet or SSH client. So click on this, and the IP address of that router was 192.168.1.1, and give a username. Username was set was admin1. That was a capital, right? Admin1. Connect. So the next thing, it is asking me the password. Admin1 PA55. Enter, and I'm through. You all can see I'm able to see the router from the PC now. Okay, and that was all about this practical.
That's all guys from this video. If you really like this video, press like button and do subscribe to our channel. If any queries or suggestions, do comment below. For more such updates, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.